Reddit, what is the biggest lie you have ever told and how long did you keep it going? In elementary school I told everyone that I was allergic to bees so that when a bee came near me and I ran away their thought was it's a life and death situation, not that pussy's afraid of bees. I moved away in middle school, maybe 4 years later, and didn't retell the lie, because I had overcome my fear of bees. Plot twist. You actually are allergic, you just won't know until it's too late. I got married 4 years ago. There's this guy at work who's one of those people, the type that keep asking you when you are planning on having a baby once you're married. Since we didn't really have much in common and he heard I got married, that's the only thing he could come up with to start a conversation. It was just water cooler banter. I kept telling him when the time is right, but he still kept asking me every time I ran into him. So, any kids on the way? Hey, expecting any time soon? Any plans on having a baby? I got sick of it. One day I just told him yes. She's pregnant. We're having a boy. I figured it would shut him up. I was so wrong. Jacob is 2 years old now. He started teething. He said his first word. He keeps us up at night and he doesn't freaking exist. I've told my wife about this and she thinks I'm an idiot. At this point, there's no looking back. This is the perfect opportunity to just deny all knowledge of your kid ever existing. If the guy asks about your kid, just say who, and play it off as you have never had a kid. The guy will assume he is losing his it. What the hell are you talking about? I never had a kid. Please do this. And then come back here and tell us how he reacted. Friend of mine pretended to be left-handed to switch his seat in class so he could sit next to this cute thin blonde girl that smells like strawberries that was actually left-handed. He learned to write left-handed and even switched hands for sports. He did this from 9th grade until we graduated. They are still going and he is ambidextrous now. I did something similar, but learned how to jerk off lefty and painted my nails to pretend it was her hand. Bro, high five. With your right hand please. I failed my MSc, Master of Science. I really shouldn't have done that particular subject and ended up getting a postgraduate diploma. I lied and got a job saying I have a master's degree. After we changed which group we belonged to at work, my new manager brought me into his office and asked me if I have a master's degree. I assumed I was going to be fired. After he said that I was on the wrong pay grade and then proceeded to tell HR to give me more money. I got a 17% pay rise. For the months between him speaking to me and getting my pay rise, my heart sank every time he looked mad at his computer, which he regularly does. I felt bad, because he was a really good manager. Just whip one up and mispaint. Stick some word art on it, and some legit sounding text. This Master's Award is presented to Lala 11 for services to education and whatnot. It'd be better to make one in MSc Paint. Isn't that some sort of fraud? Cheeky fraud with the lads. Remember Tom Green and how he had that bout with testicular cancer? That was a popular topic of discussion during the first half of my freshman year of high school since he hyped it up so much in his show that people actually watched for some reason. Anyway, I really didn't feel like going to school really ever, so fast forward to Monday the week before Christmas break was gonna start. For some reason, I thought I'd lie and tell my mom that the Tom Green thing had made me paranoid, so I gave myself a self-exam and thought I felt a lump. To get out of school, don't ask me why I didn't just go with a stomachache or something. So mom freaks out, calls around a bit, and before I know it I'm sitting in a urologist's office. So I figure what the hell. I go through with it, say oops I was scared, head home and play video games the rest of the day. Turned out though that there was a lump. Mom freaked out some more and the next day we went for a second opinion. After both doctors basically said they could only guess whether it was benign or malignant and that the only way to be 100% safe or know for sure would be to remove my right nut. I somehow never really got that worried about it since the situation was pretty clear-cut, and if it were cancerous the best thing to do would be to remove it anyway. So in the end it came out that Friday and turned out to be benign, so the whole thing was technically for no reason. But yeah, I got the whole week off, making my Christmas break 3+ weeks long, so I'd call it a win. Parents still don't know, and it was 1999. So you traded your nut for a week of school? Worth? Yeah. But it was the right one, man. Monday, I'd give my right nut for a week off school. Friday, damn. What you don't realize is that the doctors knew. My parents wanted me to be in an activity in high school. I pretended to be in choir from 9th grade, 12th grade. I even had a choir robe, given to me, that I would dress up in, and actually leave the house whenever there was a choir performance, just finding someplace to hide, usually in an alleyway near my school. One day, my mom came to see the choir perform. After the show, she said she didn't see me up there singing, but I swore I was up there. She probably just didn't look hard enough. I also told her my name wasn't in the program because of a misprint. I still can't believe she bought that. I did end up getting busted though. Just before I graduated during a parent-teacher conference, my parents were not happy. They were so angry that they said they wouldn't even punish me, as this behavior went beyond punishment, and I just have to live my life knowing how much I'd let them down. It worked, because obviously I've never forgotten it. That's awesome. You got away with it. They were so angry that they said they wouldn't even punish me, as this behavior went beyond punishment, and I just have to live my life knowing how much I'd let them down. It worked, because obviously I've never forgotten it. Yeah, that's not getting away with it. That's worse than any punishment. I could live with my parents being let down that I wasn't in choir. When I met my girlfriend, I told her I smoked because I thought it'd make me look cooler. Yes, I know it's a freaking dumb thing to say, and that I would stop if she didn't like it. 3.5 years later and she still thinks I quit for her. I feel like such it whenever the topic comes up and she tells me how proud she is of me. But it's gone on for so long I just gotta smile and say it was nothing. It actually was nothing, lol. So he's not lying. Everything worked out. I worked at a Harry Potter exhibit for 4 months. All the props and costumes from the movies. It was an intense interview, audition process, and the entire thing was conducted in a British accent. To preserve authenticity, we all had to be in accent all the time. I warmed up my accent at a coffee shop every morning, and one morning the barista got really excited and said, "Where are you from?" "London. I have family in London." We got to talking, and when I had to leave she said we should hang out. I thought she was cool, so we exchanged numbers, and then the panic set in. If she called me, she'd hear my American accent on my voicemail and think I was a freak. So I called her. I got her voicemail. "Hey, oh geez, I'm not actually British. This is my job. Blah blah blah." So basically the lie lasted 0 minutes. I did not hear back from her. I was walking down the street a few weeks later and someone waved at me from a street away. Turned out it was her. She said she'd gotten my message, but her phone had been stolen. She asked me to hang out, read my tarot cards, and I never saw her again. I expect her face to be the last thing I see before I die. That last line killed me. Doubt her phone was stolen. She just was trying to make a cover story for not calling back. In college I skipped an English class for essentially the full semester. I was stoned for most of college and made bad decisions like this unfortunately often. While I was skipping, the original instructor had a heart attack and was replaced. Right before finals I went to the replacement and explained that the reason why I was absent for pretty much the entire semester was because I had mono. She took pity on me and allowed me to write a couple papers to make up for my extended absence, and I passed with a C-. "You are so freaking lucky." "That's so amusing. Because I had mono. One of your ears stopped working?" Lie. "I'll do it tomorrow." Duration. Birth. Current. "Yesterday you said tomorrow, so just do it. With me." My Asian friend and I have been telling people that we're siblings for 4 years. I'm white. They believe us. To be fair, so many adopted children are Asians adopted into white families, so people are probably assuming that you're adoptive siblings and just not questioning it. No, we say that we share a parent. I told people at my Catholic high school that I was Jewish. This went on for a little longer than it should have. I ended up having people dropping change on the floor to test if I'd look or pick it up. Someone bought me a Star of David pendant and I wore it all of the time. Well, that was super freaking racist of them. But, hey, free money. Found the Jew. This was a few years ago when I was working on newly built LNG gas carriers. During the morning 12-4 bridge watch I somehow ended up chatting about ghosts and things with the Filipino watchkeeper. In the course of this conversation he mentioned that some of the guys on board had noticed some strange happenings, suggesting the vessel we are on was in some way haunted. I don't know why I did this, but I decided there was a chance for some lols, so totally deadpan I told him that during the construction of the accommodation, I was in the shipyard during the latter stages of construction, which gave me more credibility here. A section of the accommodation block collapsed, killing 3 Korean shipyard workers, and that this happened around C deck, which is of course the deck all the crew stay on. Well, the fuse was lit. The watchkeeper passed on this information to the rest of the crew, all Filipino and superstitious. Within the week ghost sightings were happening daily, and most of the crew had opted to buddy up and sleep in each other's cabins to avoid being alone at night. One particular cabin had been earmarked as the most haunted, so the crew stopped staying in the adjacent cabins. I was starting to get concerned by this situation. Frick, even I was getting scared of the bloody ghosts, and I was the one that made them up. Things rapidly got out of hand. I couldn't backtrack from the lie or the crew would kill me. Yet some crew members had started grumbling about wanting to sign off to avoid the ghosts, which would have serious ramifications for their careers. I was stuck in a tough spot. Luckily, the chief cook fancied himself as a pastor. He carried out a full exorcism of the vessel, and overnight the problem vanished. This was a week before we were due in port. Massive buggering relief. I've since left that particular company, but it is my understanding that some choice pages from the Bible have been stashed in the deckhead plating of one particular cabin to continuously ward off the restless spirits of those non-existent dead Koreans. Great prank. I feel I should add the sighting that actually freaked me out as well. It is a creepy bugger of a story. After the 12:04 a.m. watch, the watchkeeper was heading to his cabin. When he reached C deck, he noticed the door to the unoccupied cadet corner cabin was hooked open, so he went to investigate. It's a fire door which shouldn't be left open in an unoccupied cabin. When he reached the door, he could see one person standing in the center of the room facing the door with his head down, staring at his feet. He was wearing a Korean shipyard worker's boiler suit and helmet. The watchkeeper asked, "My friend, are you okay?" The figure didn't budge, so the watchkeeper asked again. At the second asking, the figure slowly raised a pointed finger to the watchkeeper while raising his head. The pool chap had no face aside from a wide-open gnarled mouth. Bricks were dead, and the watchkeeper bolted to his friend's room to recite Bible verses. I'm ashamed to admit I may have skipped C deck during my post-watch safety rounds the night after I heard about this, which is madness considering I was the person that created this hysterical situation to occur. But frick me, creepy buggering story. I've been pretending to be a functioning person for 20-odd years now. What about the even years? He can't even. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please smash the like button and leave a comment which story you liked the most. Subscribe and hit the bell notification for updates on our latest videos. And don't forget to check the links in the description box for more awesome content.